I'm going to be teaching you how I like to create my clean bridal buns. Before we get started, I want to talk a little bit about prep. So today I'm going to be using my mannequin Dolly, and she doesn't need a whole lot of prep. She's got the perfect amount of texture in her hair, and it's pretty smooth overall. But that is going to be the key for creating a really clean bun. So depending on your bride's hair or whoever's hair you are doing, you want to make sure their hair is smooth, whether that's using a blow dryer to round brush and blow the hair out smooth, or you can quickly go through the whole entire head and curl it very quickly. This typically takes 10 minutes or less for me whenever I'm doing prep work. Or you can even go through with a straightener and slightly curl the hair, or even smooth it out. It just needs to be really smooth, shiny, and it also needs to have some texture in it. So a couple things you can do to achieve texture in the hair if their hair is really silky and fine and just really heavy and dense and you just need some grip and texture in there. You can take a texturizing sea salt spray, lightly spray it all over the head of hair and round brush and blow dry that into the hair. You can also use any type of volumizing mousse. I like to use the Moroccan oil volume mousse. That works really great as well to give the hair some structure, to create a base of a little bit of texture in there as well. I am going to start off with using a little bit of Kenra Luxe Shine Oil just to add extra shine into the hair and to help moisturize those ends, add a little bit of shine. So I'm just going to run that through the hair and just brush that through. And then the first thing I like to do is start working on the crown area. And I like to use my pink pewter comb to tease. So I'm gonna go ahead and just section off the sides. I'm going to do a zigzag section. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Just do a zigzag section starting right at the top of the head, and it comes almost to right behind the ear. And all of this hair is going to get combed straight back, and we're going to start building some volume in the crown area. So I like to just start off by taking a section. And I love using my volumizing powders whenever I am teasing. So today I'm going to be using my Sexy Hair Powder Play Light. I sprinkle a little bit of that into the root area and tease until, and then I take another section right under that and a little bit more powder play. And then tease it right at the root. And if their head is very wide and you do need more volume, you can take it in sections from side to side, which is what I'm gonna do with hers. So I'm gonna take a little bit on this side, put some of my texture powder in there, tease. And then I'm gonna turn her, come over on this side, and tease this side. And I usually like to tease all the way down to that occipital bone. So I'm going to take one more section, put a little bit of texture powder, and then we're going to take one more section on this side. This will be our last section of teasing back here and teasing right here. Then we're going to go ahead and just bring all of this teased hair back, and you can see all of that volume in the hair, and I just like to lightly comb over that and just smooth out the frizz. And it's just a light comb on top of the hair. I'm not taking the comb into the hair and brushing out the tease. It's just always very light on top, and making sure we have a nice smooth hair with very few frizzies on top. And what I like to do is take a little bit of hairspray. I'm using the Design Me, Hold Me hairspray, and just taking a light layer of this and either using my hand or my comb to really just add some shine into the hair and really smooth any frizzy pieces down. Next, I'm going to be moving on to the side, and I'm going to start my section right on that part line and take like a diagonal section forward. And I'm just going to tease the sides a little bit. I'm going to add a little bit more texture powder and just add a little bit of teasing. That way it's just evenly proportioned on all the sides as far as the volume goes. I'm going to sprinkle in a little bit more. And then around the ear, this can be a really important part to tease. If you guys have ever had a client where it gets a little funky around the ear, sometimes the hair needs extra smoothing around this part. So taking a round brush or curling it and pulling it out. Sometimes there's weird kinks and curls around the ear, but also teasing right here in this area can really help that hair to lay and come back very nicely when you are creating updos and buns, just by teasing this section right here. All right, then we're gonna just bring this all back, lightly comb it down, and I'm gonna take a little bit more hairspray. I also love using the Redken spray wax for smoothing frizz. You can easily start working this in. This also adds a really beautiful shine, adds moisture, and literally creates like the best frizz-free barrier, and my client's hair stays in place all day. All right, so we're just gonna smooth that and then move on to the other side and do the same thing. We're just taking diagonal sections and getting a little bit of volume throughout the sides. Taking a little bit of my texture powder. And I'm going to sprinkle that in. And then just teasing it. And then taking my next section down, sprinkling in a little bit of texture powder. And again, I always keep my tease really close to the root area. The higher up you tease, the more frizz you create. And we're just trying to get a little bit of lift. And then here's where we get to the section around the ear. And it's very helpful if you come down pretty far close to the ear and tease. This will create a nice flow on the sides of your updos. All right, we're gonna comb this back and down. And then I'm just gonna spray a little bit of the Redken spray wax up towards that top part and take my comb and just smooth out the hair. Now we're ready to start creating the bun, and what I like to do is start in the center back of the crown area. And this is the part where you really want to make sure it's smooth and polished. And I like to use hairspray or spray wax to really help with this part. And I'm just going to give it a little twist. And before I secure it, I like to pinch and pull up my volume. And then once I like the amount of volume I have in it, I will take my bobby pins and secure it in. And if you need more hairspray, you can definitely spray as you go. And I like to take a step back and just look at it from all angles. I'm gonna take one more bobby pin and just crisscross it with this one. Make sure it's nice and secure. Next, I'm going to gather another section. Make sure it's nice and smooth. I'm going to take a little bit of the Riken spray wax and just comb through it. And twist it back and pinch and pull out some volume. I also like to use my fork comb as I'm working to blend the sections together so they just blend and flow seamlessly. And then I'm going to take another bobby pin and secure that one in place. And then just pinch and pull out my volume. And as I work on the crown section, I always like to look at it from the sides and make sure that the volume is in all of the right places, and look at it from the front. And as I can tell, this needs to be pulled out a little bit more from the front view, so it has a nice modern shape to it. And then I'm going to take a little bit more of that spray wax. And if there's any pieces that need to come out more, or you need to bring the sections together, you can always stick your comb in and just gently pull out. I'm going to take one more bobby pin right here to secure that section, and then need to pinch and pull this out a little bit more on this side. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing on this side. I'm going to gather a little bit more hair for the next section and use my comb to just gently comb it back, taking a little bit more spray wax and combing it back. And I'm just going to take my bobby pin and secure that in place. Take one more and secure that. And then again, I'm going to just look at it from all angles. Make sure that the amount of volume looks good from all angles. And then we're going to continue to pull our front section back. Now this is where, when we get to the front, I like to determine how much hair we want to leave in the front. A lot of times my clients will already have some bangs cut, and I just kind of go off of what they already have. And a lot of times I do end up cutting their hair as well if pieces are too long and we decide on something different. But it is very trendy and modern, and most brides right now want a more thicker piece up front, some more chunky face framing. So that's a lot of times what I do, and we give them some nice volume on the front pieces with a nice soft wave. So that's what I'm going to do for this style. And let me see. Okay, so we'll go ahead and leave these pieces out, and everything else will be getting pulled back into the bun. So I'm going to work on this side and take my next section back. And I'm going to spray it with a little bit of the spray wax. Take my comb and smooth all that frizz down. And do a little half twist right here. And right here is where you really want to make sure it's laying how you want it to, if the client wants their ear covered. And once we pin it, we can check the volume on the sides and pinch and pull out the amount of volume that we want on the sides. So let me just secure this. And then we can turn her to the front and look at her straight on. and see if we need to pull out some hair. And I think that looks pretty good. We're gonna do the same thing on the other side. And just go ahead and bring the rest of this section back. And by doing this little half twist when we come back here, helps to just gather all the hair, keep it nice and secure, and it's gonna help you pin it. All right, so I'm gonna spray a little bit of the spray wax and just comb and smooth that. And just do a little twist right here. Gonna secure that right in there. And we'll do one more. Okay, and then we're gonna come to the side and just make sure that there is enough volume. You can spray a little bit more with spray wax if you need it. Okay, now that we've got the top part looking how you want it, and this is the part where you want to make sure that the volume looks good from the side and you can envision the bun being done and how it's going to look, because it's going to be a little bit easier right now to pull out the volume if you need to. I'm going to go ahead and comb through this bottom part. And then what I like to do is split this section in half. And this mannequin head has very thick hair, so I don't need any kind of padding in her hair. But if your client has finer hair or you are looking to get a fuller bun, what I like to do is split this section in half. And then I take some texture powder and place it in the middle. And then place your hair padding right here in the center, secure it with bobby pins, and then you can create your bun around the hair padding. But she does not need that, so what we're gonna do is go ahead and still place texture powder right in this whole center section right here. And then I'm gonna take my comb and tease. This is gonna act as our base. And by creating a little bit of a cushion here, this is what we're gonna be pinning everything into, and it's going to really make this bun nice and secure. I'm gonna come over here on the other side and tease this as well. Okay. And I wanna make sure that these ends are nice and smooth. I'm going to take a little bit of the Osis Tame Wild. Again, this is where your prep work is really going to come in. So you really want to make sure that you have a nice smooth blow dry, or you really smooth it out with a curling iron or a flat iron. And then you're going to go in with some product as well, like the Osis Tame Wild, which I'm doing now. And this is going to add shine, help seal those frizzy pieces down, and really help you to create this bun. Okay. I'm gonna grab a little bit more and make sure that it's nice and smooth under here. Part is really important too, underneath around the neckline. If this part, a lot of times this part will need extra smoothing, whether that's like a little mini flat iron, or I love using creams and paste to really smooth that frizz under there and really clean it up. Once we've got this part smoothed out, I'm gonna start using some spray wax and my fingers and a comb to really start to twist this, but also make sure that it is free of frizz as we're working through it. So usually a lot of product is needed for this. And just going to twist it and add And I'm going to start to bring this over. And making sure that it's really smooth is going to be very important for this. And as I start to twist it, I'm going to secure the bun as I go. And I'm just going to lock it in there. And then I'm going to spray a little bit more of the spray wax on the ends and continue to really smooth this out. Now this part is a little bit time consuming because you really have to work with it, manipulate it, and just really make sure you pay attention to keeping it really smooth to get that really clean look. And I'm just going to pin this in. And then what I like to do is take an elastic band. Just going to be using a little clear one, and I like to secure the ends because this makes it a lot easier to pin them and tuck them under and hide them. Smooth that out a little bit more, twist it. And then just place that elastic on the ends. And then I'm just going to bring that under and bring it behind the bun so you don't see that. And then I'm going to pin that. Then we're going to work on this section. So I'm going to make sure it's nice and smoothed out. Make sure that elastic band is secured so it doesn't start to pop out at any point. Just going to place that there. And then you can just use your fingers to smooth frizz as you go. I'm going to take a little bit of the Osis Tame Wild Cream and work it into this section now. And then use my comb to just comb it through. Start twisting, and this section is going to come this way. So this section went this way, this one's going to go around this way. And I'm just going to spray it with a little spray wax and work that through. And we're going to twist and just kind of place it right under this one and start pinning it. I'm going to spray these ends. And just keep bringing this around. And really, I'm just looking at the shape of the bun and shaping it as I go. I'm placing this hair where it needs to be. And you really just have to look at all angles. So I come to the side to make sure it looks proportioned, make sure it looks proportioned from the back and all sides. And then again, I'm gonna take an elastic band and secure the ends. And then we're gonna finish hiding the rest of this hair. I'm going to just bring it in between these two sections and bobby pin it in a way to where it's hidden. And then I'm just going to make sure that the little ends don't poke out. And then I'm just going to be placing bobby pins in to make sure everything is secure. And then I like to go in with a little bit more of the spray wax and just polish and smooth in the direction that it goes. But again, prep work is going to be huge for getting a really smooth, clean bun. So if you have good prep and nice smooth hair to begin with, then that is going to make all the difference. Okay, and lastly, I'm going to show you how I like to finish off the front pieces. So I'm going to be using a 1-inch curling iron, and I start about cheekbone and just do a very soft curl. I'm leaving the ends straighter and then just running it out. And then the same thing on the other side. I like to start about the cheekbone and curl it away from the face. And I'm just doing a very soft curl, leaving the ends straighter and out for a really soft, modern front face framing piece. And then I like to give it some volume. So I take the whole entire section straight up and sprinkle a little bit of texture powder and tease it right at that root area. And then I like to comb it out, and I'll use a little bit of hairspray and just fan it out. And you can just see how much volume that gives in the front. And then we'll do the same thing on the other side. Lift it straight up. Sprinkle a little bit of that texture powder and tease. And then let it fall, and you can just fan it out. And hairspray. And that